Let me get a steamroller.
He was so fun just watching him hit the triples, being like, "Oh, is he gonna hit another triple?" And then go run! Like,
right.
He was fun. It's hard work. I get ready for fight camp. You know, I always like to do like an 8 to 10 week, dedicated, focused fight camp. It's a dream come true. I grew up playing Madden, playing MLB, the show, and just all those video games. So yeah, as soon as I was waiting for it, I knew it was just a matter of time, and it was cool. It's cool, man.
Matt, UFC Tampa. There was a video of you going over to Pete Alonso, shook his hand. You said something to him. Can you tell us what you said?
I told him, I was like, we want you back in New York. You're a Met for life, and he wanted it. He kept saying, yeah, I want to be a Met. And I hope so. He was like, I hope they bring us back. I told him the Coens are going to pay you. You deserve it. You're going to be a lifelong Met. Something along those lines. I was just talking, but then I was like, I'll train you. We'll get those hands right in the off season.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the original Mets Guys podcast for episode 12. Today we have a very, very special guest, a lightweight in the UFC, Matt Steamrolla, Frevola. Matt, how are we doing today? Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just enjoying the finish of the weekend, and pumped for this Mets season coming up, and pumped to talk to you guys.
We're going to have a lot of fun. We have a lot to talk about. We have some questions about your UFC career, some question about the Mets. We even have some questions from the fans. So to start it off, every guest that comes onto our podcast gives us their top 5 Mets of all time. So please give us your top 5 Mets of all time.
Top 5 Mets. I'm like, I come up in the golden era, for my golden era, like the Mike Piazza, he's on that list. Obviously, the David Wright, Jose Reyes, Algardo Alfonso, and then I'm putting. Oh man, see, it's the fifth one is tough, but. I'm going modern day. We'll go Lindor because he's going to bring us a couple championships.
At least.
Yeah.
At least. So it's so funny, by the way. I'm surprised. By the way, I'm obviously a little bit older than both of you, right? A little bit older. And for me, like, to hear Reyes so high up on the list, a few people have said Reyes. Right? But it's so funny how there's that's not even on my register of guys, but guys your age all say Reyes is in the top 5.
Yeah, he was so fun just watching him hit the triples. I just will always remember being like, oh, is he gonna hit another triple? And then go run!
Right.
He was fun, and him. I mean, that's why we love Lindor too. I mean, you got to get Jose Reyes vibes off Lindor, but Lindor is he's the man. He's got the power too. But they love to play the game, and it's fun.
Yeah, he's listen. There was nothing more exciting than a Jose Reyes triple. That's true.
Yeah.
So Jose Reyes triple was electric.
Oh, yeah.
Electric. Did you grow up in Shea Stadium?
Yeah. I'm from Long Island, New York, and we went to a lot of games growing up. We had some awesome seats. My dad got some awesome seats right behind first base, and we went to a bunch of games. It was great.
So what do you like, Shea Stadium or Citi Field?
Shea Stadium has always got a soft spot in my heart. Just growing up there, I love it. But I love Citi Field, and I think it's just it's the Coens, obviously, but just being, having been in the suites and that owner suite up there with the Coens and being able to explore really all of Citi Field. I remember Shea Stadium, but I remember, just the seat and then going and getting some food. But I've really seen all Citi Field, and it's such an amazing place.
Yeah, it's Shea Stadium is your first love. It was epic coming in through the tunnel and seeing the stadium. And when Citi Field opened up, I was nervous that it would lose that field. But then the first time I went to Citi Field, I was like, all right, yeah, we needed an upgrade. And this is awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
They did a great job with Citi Field. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Where do you get the name Steamrolla from?
It was my third amateur fight. like after my third amateur fight, my uncle, he's like from Boston. He's got the Boston accent. Him and my dad just went to they go to all my fights. My uncle, not anymore, R.I.P. Uncle Dolzy, but he gave me that nickname. Like after my third fight, I was just steamrolling everyone. They're like, oh, it needs a nickname. And it's something that rolls off the tongue. He's like, Steamrolla, Frevola. Not steamroller, Steamrolla, Frevola.
Listen, it works really well. It really does.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that we got the crowd, yelling Steamrolla, and the whole crowd came after that.
That's
awesome.
like a lot of my fights, like all my fights really are all my friends, all my family coming out for like a fun weekend. I love traveling and getting everybody to go out and we have a great time. So and then, you gotta have the brand in there. Everybody loves a good chant.
Of course. No, that's pretty awesome.
My next question for you is, we've asked this to our other guests, but what made you a Mets fan? Was there a specific Mets moment or Mets situation or whatever it is that made you a Mets fan? And if so, what was that?
I was born into this life. I think that's it. My dad was a Mets fan and I was just always a Mets fan growing up, playing baseball, rooting for the Mets, having the front runner Yankees fans, friends, winning all those World Series. I was just always, and, I was born as a Jets fan too. We're born into this life of character. But it's going to pay off soon. It's going to pay off soon.
So I agree. I was born into it also. Father over here was not, coming over. Your dad was not a big sports guy. So you talked about this in our very first episode, but why don't you remind us and everybody else why you're a Mets fan?
I remember '86. I don't have clear memories, but I remember my brother after, I think it was Game 7, just jumping up and hitting the top of the door, the doorway. For days afterwards, We Are the Champions by Queen was playing all over the place. And that was my introduction. And then I remember my first season really invested in the season was '88 and watching, the Mets, have a disastrous Game 7 against the Dodgers in the NLCS. And once I felt that pain, I was like, oh, I'm addicted to it. I got to do this again.
Right.
So yeah. That was my moment.
Gotta run it over. Anyways, let's go on. Matt, UFC Tampa. There was a video of you going over to Pete Alonso, shook his hand. You said something to him. Can you tell us what you said to Pete Alonso? Because whatever you said, it worked, and now he's back.
Yeah, I had a couple drinks in my belly on that point, but I was feeling good. I was getting pumped for my boy Billy Q's fight, and I saw Alonso. I was so pumped, and I told him, I was like, "We want you back in New York. You're a Met for life," and he wanted it. He kept saying, "Yeah, I want to be a Met." And I hope so. He was like, "I hope they bring us back." I told him the Coens are going to pay you. You deserve it. You're going to be a lifelong Met. Something along those lines. I was just talking, but then I was like, "I'll train you. We'll get those hands right in the off season." He said he was down. I mean, we haven't connected yet, but hopefully I'll link up with Pete and all the boys and get their boxing on point and give them a little training in the off season.
You would think baseball is a little bit smaller than a head.
Yeah, right?
There's a target you gotta go there, right? But if you can hit a head, you can hit a baseball. Or you can hit a baseball, you can hit a head.
My overhand right. I always say I grew up just throwing, playing third base, catcher, just roping it. I got an arm, so we'll translate it.
I watched your UFC debut. At least I believe I did, against Terrence McKinney. After that
was my debut, but that was probably like my sixth, but. Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute.
That was your UFC debut, right?
No, my UFC debut was in St. Louis in 2018.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I guess I'm wrong. Well, I guess since that fight, since that Terrence McKinney fight, watched every single one of your fights. It's super exciting. And then when they added you to UFC 5, which, by the way, I have to ask you, what is it like to be in a video game?
It's a dream come true. I grew up playing Madden, playing, MLB, the show, and just all those video games. So yeah, as soon as I was waiting for it, I knew it was just a matter of time, and it was cool. It's cool, man.
So what's funny is that I don't really play UFC 5. I don't really play too many games, but the couple times I've played with Israel, right? So I get in there and I just push all the buttons, right? I've seen like some of your fights, and it looks like someone is pushing all your buttons. You're just like railing on people.
Yeah, that's how we do it. But yeah, I didn't play the game either. But as soon as I got in, I was like, I need to play this, and it's actually pretty fun. It is like easier to pick up than you would think. But it's crazy how they got everything so right. Like I remember for one of my fight weeks at MSG for my photo shoot, they told me, all right, we're going to take some pictures for the video game. And I was like pumped that I was going to be in it. And then they just had me stand there and just took pictures all turn, picture. And then through those pictures, they just scanned me into the game. But they even had like the scar on my back. It was insane how real they got it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what it looks like. I remember playing like the old Commodore 64 like baseball games. And I remember when they everybody was white, right? And then they upgraded the game, and like they had like Darryl Strawberry was black, and they had like Dwight Gooden was black, and they added like the African American players with their proper skin color, and like that was like the craziest thing in the world. Now it's like man, every feature about a person is like spot on. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's crazy how good they're getting with the video games.
So where I was going with this whole thing when I started. You go into your fights, Dana gives you a call, Hunter gives you a call, say, hey, this guy, you say yes. What is your mindset going into, fight camp and then going into fight night?
It's hard work. I get ready for fight camp. I always like to do like an 8 to 10 week, dedicated, focused fight camp. And, I do no shortcuts. I know what I need to do to prepare for a fight. I got good coaches, good teammates around me. And, my wife knows the deal. My family knows the deal. It's time to lock in for a fight camp. Everybody's in it with me. And then we put the work in, it's like you get on the diet. You got to eat right. It's pretty much, it's a 24-hour lifestyle in fight camp. You're eating to fuel yourself for the training session, not to enjoy yourself. You got to do your recovery. You got to do your jiu-jitsu. You got to do your sparring. You got to hit your mitts. You got to do, there's so much to a fight camp now, but it's the best job in the world. What else would I rather be doing?
Not getting punched in the face, I would think. But
well, his job is to not get punched. His job is to punch, not to get punched.
It's more fun than you would think.
Listen, I've been hit in the face before, and not so fun. But it's worse to get hit like in the stomach and in the ribs and that liver area. That hurts a lot more than.
Hey, you gotta harden that body. You gotta do those sit-ups, get the body conditioning in.
What is it that lets you take a whack to the face and just kind of stay in there and like not lose consciousness, and B just stay on your feet and keep going. I mean, I watch these guys I've seen videos of you you get hit and you just stay there like, all right, let's go again. How do you stay in that?
Like you get knocked out by the punch you don't see coming. That's usually the case, and that's what all the striking and all the setups and the feints and that's the whole art of striking, is to set up those shots that they don't see coming. You get the dominant angle, you make a miss, and then you land the shot. So, having good defense, and that comes through training. I've had so many people throw so many punches at me. I know, I keep my chin down, my eyes up, my hands up, use my parries, see everything. Your eyes are the number one tool. You have to see everything. So, and it's just repetition. The more you do it, the more you're going to be more comfortable doing it and know how to defend.
So let me ask you this, right? Because we have professional fighting and we have professional baseball, right? Like these guys are doing things that the guy in the backyard or the kids growing up, 90% of them never get to there, right? Tell me about the top 5-10% of people that are fighting the UFC. What makes them different than the average schoolyard bully who thinks he can just take anybody?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is they never quit. Through all the injuries, through all the times you've gotten beat up, through all there's so many guys that will show up at the gym and I'm like, oh man, this guy will be a world champion one day, and then they get hurt, one injury, and then never see him again. Or somebody that'll lose and then you just kind of never see him again. It's the guys that just keep going, keep getting better and truly love it. Like keep going. Baseball and other sports are a little different, but I feel like fighting, it's a lot of like will. It's a lot of like heart.
Right.
And it's just, I tell a lot of these guys, you keep showing up, no matter what, keep getting better. And you could achieve a lot of great things in fighting.
So I want to ask you this more because I'm curious, but I think a lot of people watching this live and when we post this want to know, who's that one guy in the UFC in the lightweight division that you want to pound?
I think I already pounded him. I already humbled him good. Like it was Otman Azaitar. That was probably my most satisfying knockout win when you get somebody who like needs it, he needed to be humbled and he got his humbling and he's a better man from it. But besides that, I mean, there's no one like, I don't have any like beef with anybody. In the end of the day, I know like all of us are fighters at the highest level and we've been through a pretty similar experience to get to where we've gotten, and that's why I like to think of the martial artists in the MMA fighters. And, I could relate with most martial artists.
Now, this brings me to my next question, which is kind of similar, but what's your dream fight? Current, past, who's that one guy who'd you be like beyond honored to share the octagon with?
I would say BJ Penn. BJ Penn, he was like, I was a huge fan. He was like the first book I ever read, like front to back, like his why I fight. BJ Penn. He's just a badass Hawaiian dude, fought anybody. And he was just a scrapper, like awesome, amazing jiu-jitsu. I was a huge fan of him. And, I think me and him would have put on an amazing fight. And then Clay Guida, I always wanted to fight Clay Guida, and that was actually possible for a while, but he retired. He's had a legendary career.
Yeah, Clay is one of the funnest fighters to watch. I mean, he would throw whatever and just keep going. Father, if you want to watch a guy who just gets hit and continues to go forward no matter what, Clay Guida is the guy to watch.
Yeah, watch him and Diego Sanchez. Clay Guida, Diego Sanchez.
It's a crazy fight. That is a ridiculous fight.
You'll have to show me some clips.
I will show you some clips. Anyways, Matt, before we hop into some Mets stuff, I posted on my story twice, saying to the fans, if there's anything you want to ask Matt, let us know. We'll ask him through here. So how much weight do you typically cut before a fight?
Naturally, I'll probably walk around like 185, but it's like a chubby 185. So I'm like naturally a chubby dude. And then, I'll get in shape and I'll do most of my camp like around high 170s. And then I'm just trying to get under 175 for like 6 weeks out. Like 6 weeks out, I like to be like right around 175. And then come like fight week, like I'll probably be around 170, like 169 on a good day. And then I'll do my whole water load, my whole weight cut. So I probably cut about like 15 pounds.
So for people who haven't cut weight like myself or like a lot of people out there,
I know how to put on weight. I can't cut the weight. I can put it on a whole lot of it. I think I take your 15 pounds every time you lose it. I think I take it.
So
it's just water.
What's that process like? And then afterwards, how are you feeling? How does your body feel after you cut that 15 pounds of water weight?
It's like they have it down to a science now. And I feel like my body knows, I have everything like written down from my past camps, and I always, throughout the camp, I'll make sure like, all right, where's my weight here? Where's my weight there? Make sure I'm in the right range. But and then come fight week, it's all just water manipulation, and they got it down to a science. The UFC, they have UFC nutritionists and from the PI that help you with everything. But it starts with the water load. Like you have weigh-ins on Friday, so probably a week before, like Saturday or Sunday, I'll start like 2 gallons of water, and then you get to the fight week on Tuesday, and as soon as you get there, the UFC nutritionists give you all your meals. And they'll like cut out the sodium, like no sodium, like super small meals. And then with the water load, you're just pissing like all day, and your body's just like dumping. And then 24 hours before the weigh-ins, stop all water. And that's when like the real cut starts. And you just, I rub my whole body with like sweet sweat, throw a sauna suit on, a hoodie, jump some rope, shadow box, hit some mitts, do a little wrestling, and then lay in like a sauna blanket. They put this sauna blanket over me. I put a pillow on, and I just lay in there for like 45 minutes and maybe do 2 rounds of that, and we're on weight. And you're feeling like death, though. I always know that I'm close to weight when I can feel my heartbeat go through my whole body.
So after you weigh in, you make weight. What do you do afterwards? Do you go, straight to the back and just drink as much as you can, eat as much as you can? How do you get that weight back on so you can get back to a healthy weight to fight?
I used to, like when you start out, it's like trial and error. There used to be the days where right after a weigh-in, I just get to Chipotle as fast as I could and just pound a bowl, but and then you just feel like shit and like throw up. But now, in the UFC again, they have the PI, the nutritionists. They prepare like all the rehydration, and the rehydration's like almost more important than even the weight cut. You could have like a shitty, crazy, horrible weight cut, then have a perfect rehydration, and then you're good to go. Or you could have a perfect weight cut, have a shitty rehydration, and just fight like shit. So usually, the nutritionists will make the shake with all the electrolytes, all the good stuff, and they'll give me like 3 of them, 3 like big shakes. And right off the scale, like I'll start a timer, and you'll have to do like small sips for 10 minutes. Like you finish this in 10 minutes pretty much, which makes you so you don't start chugging. Because if you start chugging, you could feel your stomach shrinks during the weight cut. So if you start chugging that like right off the scale, your stomach will start getting huge. You'll get a stomach ache. You'll feel like shit. So that's why you do the timer. First drink, 10 minutes, little sips. And then you start the next one after that, another 10 minutes. And then you don't have your first meal till an hour after that. So you get the rehydration for the whole first hour. And then it's in the morning. So I go to like a nice breakfast spot. I have my eggs, my avocado, I have my toast, I have my potatoes. I eat what I pretty much eat all camp. Just it's an amazing meal.
that type of discipline is why I'm going to stay out of out of weight training or whatever that is.
The weight cutting is definitely the toughest part. But again, I've done it. My body, I've done it so many times now. And my body kind of knows the deal. And I have, I fought at 170 a couple times as an amateur where I don't really need to cut weight. But, to fight at the highest level, you gotta do it.
Would you rather cut weight to fight, or would you rather fight at your, natural walk around weight?
I would definitely rather fight at my natural walk around weight. But, if I think that was like the whole the one championship was trying to do it like that. Have all the 155ers weigh in at 170 hydrated. And I thought that was great, but that didn't like work out. People were just missing hydration tests or something. But because most 155ers do what I do. Everybody does it.
So the next fan question is: are you willing to spar with fans?
Yeah, if you come to the gym and get some training in, I like to there's a group sparring class at Longo's MMA, Thursday nights at 7:00. So I do drop in there and have some fun rounds with a lot of new guys. But usually that's my brother. My brother's just always itching to spar people. He's like, "You got anybody for me to spar?" And I always got to find some amateur to try to check them.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would want to get in a ring with you or octagon or whatever it's called. I'm good.
I'll
sit back and watch.
I would also take a very, very hard pass.
Listen, you'd be surprised. You come in there, you learn a thing or two, and then you can do a little fun spar, a little flow spar.
There's a guy local over here. We live in Chicago. There's a guy over here that that trained a little bit with the two of us. I mean, he trained us just separate, different times. He's like an older guy, and I held pads for him, and my arms were like in pain. My elbows were killing me. I tried to catch him off guard with a kick, and he just picked up his leg and tried to block it. I thought my leg was gonna break. That's it. And this guy is. I'm sure he was.
Don't worry, and then
I'm sure he's good.
And then your leg and your arms got stronger healing back after that.
You know what? I never went up against him again. So.
Yeah. So I actually did a self-defense class with the gentleman you're talking about, and when he would be hitting pads, he wouldn't let anybody hold the pads besides myself because he's like, "You're the only one who knows how to hold the pads, so you hold the pads." He kicks like a mule. And I would be terrified to know how hard you kick as a professional. But my arms would be bruised after, holding it for him. So, coming on to the next question, a Mets question is actually the next question. Who is your favorite all-time Met?
David Wright, the captain.
Captain David Wright. Simple.
I was a third baseman. That was my position too. And that was my guy.
Are you pumped for his number getting retired?
Yeah, man. I want to try to be there for that.
Do you think that there are any guys out there that the Mets still need to retire their number, or do you think now they've kind of made up for everybody and we're up to date with David?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and take a look, but I'm glad we're getting the captain up there.
Yeah, he deserves it. Yeah, he retired a few years ago, but it's long overdue.
Long overdue. You already kind of, answered this question a little bit, but what is your diet in training camp versus outside of training camp?
In training camp, I go and get my 2 eggs over medium, avocado, my sunflower, whole wheat flagel, salt, pepper, hot sauce. Out of camp, I get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
And then the last fan question is, in your lifetime, what is the favorite Mets team that you watched?
Maybe give it recency bias, but last season was one of the most fun seasons I can remember having, just with Grimace, with OMG, the way it started, and then the run that we went on, and just the characters, and just the setup for this season now. I'm gonna go with the 2024. Let's go.
2024 is not a bad answer, and to roll off that with the OMG, John Heyman had a sit down interview with Jose Iglesias. Jose Iglesias said that he's itching to come back. He still bleeds the blue and orange. And then, David Stearns had a press conference a couple days ago saying, it's really hard to fit him in. do you want to see Jose Iglesias back on the 2025 Mets?
Of course I do. You know, I really do. I hope that we can make it happen.
Yeah, the problem is like where does he fit in? I mean, I would love him on the team also, but I just don't see a fit. I want to see Ronnie Mauricio. I want to see more Luis Angel Acuna. I want to even give Brett Beatty another chance. Where does Iglesias fit in? It sucks, but where does he fit in?
I want him to fit in, but I want a World Series more.
Yeah,
I think that, and I agree. I want to see Beatty too. I was always a big fan of his. I hope that
especially with Beatty, transitioning to play second base a little bit. It's really, really hard to see how Jose Iglesias fits in. I don't know if you saw this clip, but there was a clip of Jose Iglesias hitting an absolute piss missile off Kodai Senga. So there's been talks that he changed his swing, and if so, maybe we can see a really good year out of Brett Beatty. And if that's the case, we already have a built lineup. But imagine we have a Brett Beatty that's hitting for power.
Yeah, but you hate Brett Beatty. You hate him.
I do hate Brett Beatty. I do hate Brett Beatty, but
he's too young and not. You can't hate him yet. He's no Jason.
Let him grow. Let him grow.
He's no Jason Bay here.
Listen, I hate him for the fact that he held Mark Vientos down for so long, and then Mark came up and started in absolute tanks. Pitchers catchers report. From what you guys have seen, who are you excited about?
Senga. I love him. I got to meet him. Taught me how to throw the ghost fork. So I'm really hoping that he comes and crushes it this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. So far, from what I've seen, Kodai Senga has looked really, really good, and which is super important, this early in spring. But the other guy that I've been seeing that's been looking impressive is Clay Holmes. He's got he's got himself up to 3 innings. He's stretched himself to 3 innings already, and he's blown pitches by some hitters. Granted, everyone is still rusty at this point, but I like what I've seen from Kodai Senga, but I also really like what I've been seeing from Clay Holmes.
Clay Holmes has looked really, really good, in this week. I saw a report, he's got a 5-pitch mix, including a changeup that has negative break to it. So I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I saw a video of him striking out Marte, Beatty, McNeil, and one other guy, but I don't know who it was. But super excited for Clay Holmes. Let's you wanted to do an NL East preview. That was your addition to the map. So take it away.
So yeah, we have I think besides for the Marlins, right? We have a pretty competitive NL East, probably the best division in baseball. And the Nationals are not to be taken lightly. I don't think that they're going to make a heavy run, but between the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves, how do you see that order ending up at the end of the season? Steamrolla, hit us.
Yeah,
hit
it. They're always competitive between those 3 in the division. But I think we're just gonna be the best. I think we're gonna win the division. I'll take a wild card. I just but I want to win the division.
We all want to win the division, and a friend of the podcast, Flavor Flay, has said profusely. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm gonna use it anyways. That the Braves will not be good this year. Will not be that 90-win season. So he's confident in us being in that 2 or 1 spot. But listen, Matt, I'm with you. I want to win the division. I really hope the Phillies can, drown or burn in a fire. I was really hoping that when the Eagles won the crazy,
they've won enough.
Yeah, when Philadelphia won, I was really hoping they would burn down Citizens Bank Park with the entire city, but that didn't happen. So, yeah, listen, I hope the Mets are there. You know, I'm seeing Phillies winning division, unfortunately. I think the Mets will be 2 and the Braves 3. I do think that the Mets are going to have a 90-plus win season, though.
Yeah, no, listen, I think I think that you are right. The Mets are going to have a 90 win plus season. Or 90 plus win season, whatever. But the Braves remind me of the Rays. You can never count them out. You can't assume that they're just not going to figure out a way to pull together. So I think that they're going to be better than maybe Flay thinks they're going to be. But I don't like a lot of their moves, their lack of moves this whole offseason. But I definitely think it's the Phillies division to lose. I think I'm with you, Zuri, that the Mets will end second and the Braves third. But all 3 of them are making the playoffs. All 3 of them are making the playoffs, and then we'll have to get to the rest of the NL at some point. But I think the Dodgers are going to win the West. That's a hot take right there, right? Dodgers winning, right? Yeah.
I think that is probably the easiest bet to place on the Dodgers winning.
I'm not sure what the odds are, but I think you lose money if you bet on the Dodgers to win the NL West.
Somebody in the live chat said, "I'm glad they didn't burn down Citizens Bank Park. It belongs to the Mets now." So, Marcos, it's a great point there. Listen, you go through the entire National League. The National League is the best division in baseball, right? And when you look at the top teams there, forget the NL Central, right? Between the NL East and the NL West, you have 6 very, very good teams, right? You got the Phillies, the Mets, the Braves, the Dodgers, Padres, and Diamondbacks. 6 teams that have a ton of potential. And then you have teams like the San Francisco Giants who, added a couple significant players to their squad. You have a team like the Cubs who added a singular significant player, but that player being Kyle Tucker, who's a game changer.
Yeah, and they stacked up their bullpen also.
Yeah,
forget about that.
So I want to know now, early playoff predictions. Father, you can start first on this one.
Well, I think you want what the playoff seeding is going to look like?
I want seeding. I want everything.
Okay, we're going to run it through here. Well, I think you can have the Dodgers and the Phillies as the 2 bye teams, right? They're the ones. Then you can have the Mets against the Padres is what I'm guessing. I can see the Diamondbacks in there also. And then you can have the Braves and the Cubs. That I think that's gonna be the seeding. And then in the NLCS, I'm just gonna skip right there. We're gonna have the dude. I'm gonna be biased. The Mets are gonna beat the Dodgers. That's how it's gonna happen. And then the dream come true. A reverse 2000 World Series against the other New York team. But maybe a sweep. I would love a sweep. I would love to sweep the other New York team in the World Series.
Wouldn't that be sweet?
Nothing better. There would be nothing better.
There would be nothing. Matt, well, give me your 2025 very early playoff predictions.
Way too early.
Way too early.
I think it's going to come down to the Mets and the Dodgers again in that NLCS. Then the winner is going to win it all. I think it's going to, and then the Mets are finally going to get over that. We're going to get over that hump and slay the giant and finish off with a World Series win.
And officially be Big Brother. I mean, we've been Big Brother. Last year, the other team in New York did not beat us at all. And then we took their superstar in Juan Soto.
Oh, yeah.
So we are.
My wife's a Yankees fan, so I'm loving it.
How do you do that?
How do you
do that? Oh my God.
I don't know, but our son now is a Mets fan.
Okay,
so
that's good.
First of all, was that not a deal breaker in dating her? Like, wait a minute, how?
No, it's I don't know. She's also a Rangers fan. I'm an Islanders fan, but I got her for the Jets at least.
All right,
Father. I just remembered this, but I know you wanted to ask Matt. At what point is Long Island not Long Island?
Yeah. So this is a question that we've had. So I grew up in Brooklyn, right? Later in life, my last year in high school, my family moved to Cedarhurst, which is in Nassau County, right? But I always felt weird calling it Long Island because I don't know. In my head, it's like, so at what point in your mind, you grew up in LongLand?
Yeah.
So at what point do you believe Long Island starts?
You know, I think it's Suffolk County, Nassau County. That's kind of how.
As long as you're in one of those two counties, you're good.
Yeah,
Even
I think that's
the very beginning.
Yeah, that's kind of how I always have seen. You know, but I'm a Suffolk County guy. I think you talk to the Nassau County guys, and then they'll be like, "No, that's a city."
Yeah, no, I don't know. I feel like you got to be like somewhere past what's that mall over there?
Roosevelt Field.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you got to be like over there, and then you're like at Long Island. And I feel like even like in the five towns over there, that's like
I agree with that.
Yeah, five towns like you're kind of like you're there because you're part of Nassau County, but you're not really a Long Islander.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So Matt, we have 2 games to play to end off this incredible episode. The first game is going to be a 1-word reaction. Me and my father, we're going to throw players at you for a couple players at you. You're going to give us a 1-word reaction to how you feel and how you think of that player.
if it's 2 words, we won't fine you.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Listen, if it's 2 words, you got to give me tickets to your next fight. That's just how it is.
Done.
All right, Father, you started off.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna go a little old here. Not so old. Turk Wendell.
Oh wow, Turk. He had that hair, right? So like he was like a bro.
The bro. That's a great one.
So, I'll go Brandon Nimmo, one of my favorite players.
Grit.
Okay.
All right.
I love his grit.
Matt Harvey.
Oh man, prima donna.
Okay.
I'll go right off that. Jacob deGrom.
Oh man, I loved DeGrom, and then I don't know, like loner.
Okay.
All right. The guy who Pete Alonso is going to beat the record, Darryl Strawberry.
Oh wow. Darryl Strawberry. I'm gonna say he's a party.
He's a party. You can say anyone from that era of baseball, even Ron Darling.
Frozen?
No, we're good.
I know anyone from that team, that era.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so I guess we'll go Noah Syndergaard.
Thor. I mean, the Hammer.
Hammer? You have to listen. It was one or the other. It was either Hammer or Thor. And no in between.
All right. This will be my last one. You can throw another one. How about Beltran?
Carlos Beltran was a man. He was the man back in the day. The man.
The man.
Okay. The man.
We got tickets. We got tickets.
Yes. Coming to the next fight.
And then I'll give you my last one. We'll go Pete Alonso.
Dinger.
Love it.
Dinger. All right.
So the last game, this is to round off and end off the episode. I've got a list of 5 Mets closers. I want you to blind rank them. 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. We're going to start off with Jeurys Familia.
I mean, he's either 4 or 5. I'm thinking maybe I'll put a 4.
Put it at 4. We'll go John Franco.
Oh, I love Frank. Frank's the man.
Yeah.
He's got to be 2.
Go 2.
Nice.
Armando Benitez.
Yeah. I'll go 5.
We'll go 5. Edwin Diaz.
1, baby. Let's go.
Got number 1. So we have 1 Edwin Diaz.
2 John Franco. 3 is open.
3 is open. So we have 4 Jeurys Familia, 5 Armando Benitez, which means number 3 is Billy Wagner.
Yeah, that's who I knew that he was. Yeah,
All right.
I think that's perfect, right?
It's not a bad list.
Right.
I wouldn't complain about it.
No, listen. If you're like a bleeding blue and orange Met fan,
I'm putting Diaz there because I know what he's gonna be. You know, we know his capabilities.
yeah. Listen,
He's a guy I'm excited to watch coming into the season.
I know. I really hope that he can get back. You know, really have like that season like he had. You know, a couple years back when he was killing it. And you know, I hope so. Him come back from that injury, kind of just figuring it out last season. I think he's gonna have a big season.
you talked about grit with Nimmo. Like what we saw out of Edwin Diaz at the end of last season. I mean, that was like pure grit. That was like someone who like, you know, could have, you know, mailed it in and said, I'm done for the season. I don't have it. I'm done. You know, screw me and woes to me. And the way he fought back and just became dominant again, you know, towards the end of the season and the playoffs, it was really beautiful to watch.
Yeah, he wants it.
Yeah, Father, you and I talked about this. Edwin Diaz had a great season, you know, thinking about the injury that he did have, right? He tore his MCL, I believe, in his drive knee, which is, you know, for a pitcher, it's really hard to, you know, come back from that and then create all that momentum to go forward. And he played the whole season, or, you know, most of the season, and wasn't great, but he was better than I expected, you know, a pitcher coming back from that kind of injury. Now that he had a full recovery and he's going to be back to that, you know, 50 save, sub-1 ERA Edwin Diaz that we all know and love.
Listen, you know what? There will be nothing more pleasurable than watching him strike out Ohtani in Game 7 of the NLCS to, you know, clinch our trip to the series. So,
do you think that would be sweeter than when you saw Diekman strike out Aaron Judge?
Yes. Going to the World Series? Yeah.
I'm saying a regular game, right? A regular game. The Mets are at 89 wins to get to that 90 mark. Diaz strikes out Ohtani versus last year Jake Diekman striking out Aaron Judge. What's sweeter?
Matt, you want to take this one? Because for me, it's going to be.
Come on, Diaz on Ohtani there's nothing going to be better than that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm salivating now already.
We see it.
Sorry. Oh, God.
Listen, anyway, Matt, thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure to have you on, and only good things for you and the Mets to come.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah. And you guys got to make it over here for a game. We got to all link up at Citi Field.
Yeah, you know what? We'll have to take you up on that there.
Yeah, let me know whenever you guys are out.
All right,
100%. All right, everybody who's watching it live, thank you so much for tuning in. Everybody who's going to watch this Saturday night, don't forget to subscribe, share, comment, do all the fun stuff. And as always, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. All right. Thank you, Steamrolla.
Steamrolla, yeah. Frevola. All right, everybody. Have a good night.
Boom.